Okay, grown black folks talk. Respectability politics versus good tactical sense. And this again leads out of the previous video from yesterday. Um, Let me explain to you the difference between respectability politics and good tactical sense. Respectability politics basically comes down to we're going to be the best black people that we can be in the hopes of convincing white people that we're worth having around. Basically, that's what that is. W.E.B. Du Bois, although I don't know Dubois, I always tend to go French, but I think I got it right this time. With his talented 10th idea that education in the Eurocentric system was the way, is sort of the lead thinker in the attempt to create a Black Anglo-Saxon. Black skin, white mask, I believe that's, I'm trying to think of, is it Frantz Fanon? I cannot remember right now, but it's a book about the Black Negropean who was produced out of that. But here's the sad part of life. Respectability politics misses a fact of actual history. During the Civil War, I mentioned in the last video that Black people won that war, but something that's not talked about, Abraham Lincoln could not keep that army together because whole regiments, even ones from his home state, were quitting him, talking about we're not going to fight for Black men, and they did not say that, to come north and take our jobs. The problem, and WPB actually covered this. What is it? What does it feel like to be a problem? What does it mean to be a problem? The problem is, if people look at you and know that your great grandparents were slaves, and they were superior, watching you the next couple of generations pull even with them makes them very insecure. So in reality, the more you become like white people who are bigots and racist, the more they fight you back. In the previous time, they used every power they had, including threatening to rip the country apart, to hold on to us as slaves. Since then, racism has moved around to keep there from being parity. You cannot, therefore, use respectability politics to get at where you want to go. However, good tactical sense is a different thing. We're in a global economy that is Eurocentric in its leaning. English is the official language of business around the world. Now, Mandarin is definitely going to give that a run for its money in the next, 20 years for certain. French is an important language as well, and a lot of your big European banks, German is important, but almost everybody speaks English. And this is why you can teach English officially or unofficially around the world and get somewhere, because this is the language. It does not hurt that England colonized India, which has a lot of your finest tech workers that there are right now. So European culture, Anglo-Saxon culture, is definitely still in the saddle, and my reading of scripture suggests it's going to stay there for a long time, to the end, actually, of known history. It'll be in the saddle for a while still to go. A lot of them probably don't want to hear that. Yeah, but that's not going to go away. And if you think about it, how would that go away? Now, whole gobs of things could collapse. The entire Western Hemisphere, all of everything happening here could collapse, and that still would not change that much. Because Europe is still there. And Europe is making moves quietly. Vladimir Putin is actually assisting Europe in making moves to become more dominant and protecting itself, and being dominant in the world to provide a counterbalance. What does this mean in terms of good tactical sense? It doesn't mean that you have to become a black skin with a white mask. Respectability politics is not going to help you in the global economy anyway. Outside of the United States, nobody gives two dead flies. I know an expat personally, and I follow the adventures of several. And I'm telling you, outside, nobody gives two dead flies. What people want to know is, can you bring value to whatever community you're in? If you're working and doing business things, this is also going to become there. You're working in global society. Even inside the United States, that's still true. So good tactical sense means is understand read the room. In the park, good tactical sense has led me to live my life such that even though by default, being phenotypically Black, I already know that racism says I'm going to be associated with anything that a Black person does wrong because we're judged as a collective that certain people do not want to see get level with them. That's why I had to be vetted. Do I live in a neighborhood? And are you harboring someone like this? Because the assumption is fat, Black, middle aged, not clearly at work, so possibly on Section 8, which is how this normally happens. And could you be one of the people that's funneling these people in? Good tactical sense causes you to realize you have to live your life in such a way that you keep such associations to a minimum. And by the way, the association is not Black men. The association is Black man, impoverished and inappropriately attired. Those were the things that were the giveaways that something stupid was going to happen. It's 75, but if you're homeless in San Francisco, you have to wear all your clothes at all times because the nights here are brutal, even in the summer. Not this year, but not at this moment anyway. But you have to keep everything with you because you're constantly on the move. So that's a telltale giveaway of what was going on in that case. It wasn't just that he was a Black male. My father is. My dad is worshipped around here. Mr. Lewis, does well in this neighborhood. And his grandson is treated very well by everybody around here. But this is the thing. Good tactical sense is like, okay, we live in a neighborhood that has a certain dress code. And when people go to the park, there's a certain dress code. And you kind of pay attention to what's going on around you. Now, I talk to Mr. Lewis sometimes about, what's it like to be a Black man in a neighborhood that used to be Black and transferred to being white. And he talks about the racism that he still experiences, and he knows who he is and he knows what's going on. It's not easy for him. It's not. But again, people know his track record. And once people get to know him, they calm down. It's still a burden that he has to carry. But again, this is a man worthy of respect. Not respectable by the terms of respectability politics, but a man who is worthy of respect, like my dad. It is good tactical sense to be someone who can be valued worthy of respect. Keeping a family and a property together in good shape is a good way to do that. And not all white people are bigoted and eaten up with jealousy about you doing that. Can I tell you a secret? Most people are interested in people that they can live with in peace and harmony. Go back through history and you actually will find this. You will find remote mixed communities of people that were doing just fine until someone came along and made it an issue. You'll find this back a long time. White people and Black people were going into the remote areas and living together for a long time. This goes back a very long way until some jealous group of white people came along to find out where their wife had run off to. Yeah, because she couldn't live with him. She abused and all the rest of this. Stories about this. South America got to the point where there was a whole kingdom of that they call it Palmyra for a minute. I'm trying to remember if that was the exact name, but you had a whole kingdom going on down there, Black folks, for about 100 years. There's a lot more to history and about people working together and living together in peace and harmony, just being people and humans, that we have ever learned about in our history books. Because again, you got jealous people who feel very insecure. Respectability politics says, I need these white people's approval, so let me try to be just like them. Good tactical sense says, I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be, but I'm gonna move carefully to get what I need and be in circles that I need to be in, where they will let me be, where they're secure enough to let me be myself. And I'm gonna move carefully because circles like that protect themselves. That's the difference. Respectability politics is the attitude of someone who is a dependent. Good tactical sense is the attitude of someone who knows who they are, knows what they want to accomplish, and knows how to move through their situation to get there. I wasn't going to bootlick to anybody. I didn't have to, because I know where I am. I know the history of my neighborhood. And I know what people are looking at, and I know who the players are. So what I'm going to do is work with good tactical sense. By the way, some of those players know me. They showed up at a meeting. Some of them would be like, if they had known my name, some of them showed up at a meeting, and they were going to do this, and they were going to do that. And I read them in 2 minutes. Some of them would know my name. I'm not afraid of these neighborhood associations. I ain't scared of none of them. I could take 2 minutes and read them for straight filth, publicly, on the record. But good tactical sense says it's not necessary to do that right now, but if it is, I can. Good tactical sense, we go begging to no one. You live a life worthy of respect because you want to do that as a Black person. And what would we consider worthy of respect? Law-abiding, productive, authentic. Authentic. I'm not a white woman. That's not my history. And without taking the least bit away from any other woman of any other race in the world, I have a unique history. I'm going to stay true to that. And I'm going to do it in such a way that people can respect it for the wonder that it is. I am a Black woman. I don't worry about other races of women representing me. I come and represent myself in a tactically appropriate way. All right, that's enough for today. That was a relatively long video. I may, if it cools off a little bit, get a outside video in today if I have a topic to talk about. Otherwise, y'all know I'll be sitting there in the shade somewhere, just enjoying my life, picking lily pillies and just enjoying my life. All right, y'all have a good day now. Goodbye. Thank you for listening.